Welcome to Roman Fiction. If you enjoyed the story, then please like and subscribe. Now, on to the story. In a peaceful valley at the edge of the Roman Empire, near a village so quiet that Rome itself seemed distant, lived a humble Greek farmer named Nikos. His life was simple and unadorned. He rose with the sun each morning, tended his olive trees, and worked tirelessly in his modest fields. Nikos was respected among villagers, not for wealth or power, but for his gentle heart and tireless dedication. Yet Nikos's greatest treasure was neither gold nor silver, but his beloved cow, Aurelia. Aurelia was no ordinary cow. She was legendary for her beauty, strength, and especially the extraordinary quality of her milk. It was said her milk was sweeter than honey, more pure than fresh mountain springs, and richer than the most precious nectar. Aurelia was not simply livestock. She was family, the heart of the farm and village itself. Word of Aurelia's miraculous milk quickly spread beyond their humble valley. Merchants traveled from distant lands, offering dazzling fortunes and incredible wealth for the cow, but Nikos turned each of them away. Aurelia was irreplaceable. She was not for sale at any price. With every refusal, Nikos grew more determined to protect Aurelia, grateful to the gods for blessing him so generously. He often said to the villagers, "Aurelia is a gift from the gods themselves. We must treasure and protect such a blessing." But this blessing attracted not only the attention of mortals. High upon Mount Olympus, the gods observed the world of humans below. Among them was Apollo, radiant and proud god of the sun, music, poetry, prophecy, and truth. When Apollo heard whispers among mortals, praising Aurelia's milk as superior even to Ambrosia, envy began to stir within him, an envy no mortal could have foreseen. Apollo, cloaked in mortal disguise as a humble traveler, descended from Mount Olympus to see Aurelia for himself. His feet carried him across forests, rivers, and olive groves until he reached the humble farm of Nikos, nestled within gentle hills and shaded by ancient olive trees. Arriving at twilight, Apollo knocked gently on the farmhouse door, carefully maintaining his mortal disguise. Nikos opened the door, warmly welcoming the traveler with genuine hospitality. "Come inside, friend," he said kindly. "It is late, and you must be weary. Eat and rest here tonight." Apollo stepped inside and gratefully accepted the farmer's humble offering: fresh bread, olives, cheese, and a cup of Aurelia's milk. When Apollo tasted the milk, his eyes widened. He found that the villagers had not exaggerated. Aurelia's milk was indeed miraculous, possessing qualities that rivaled even the nectar enjoyed by the gods. Driven by desire, Apollo gently proposed to Nikos, "Friend, your cow Aurelia is extraordinary indeed. Allow me to reward you generously. Take gold, silver, jewels, anything your heart desires. Name your price, and I will gladly pay." But Nikos merely smiled and shook his head gently. "Great traveler, Aurelia is not something to trade or sell. Her milk is a blessing to this village and me. No amount of wealth can match her value to us." Apollo persisted, his voice growing slightly sharper with each polite refusal. "Think carefully. Farmer, gold enough to last lifetimes, lands stretching beyond your sight, would you not accept such bounty?" Again, Nikos firmly but kindly refused. "Wealth fades, traveler, but happiness is everlasting. Aurelia's milk nourishes not only our bodies, but our hearts. She is part of our family, and one cannot trade family." Apollo's pride, wounded deeply by this humble mortal's refusal, could no longer remain hidden. In a flash, the god shed his disguise and revealed his true radiant form. Light filled the room, overpowering and intense, as Apollo stood resplendent in golden armor, crowned with radiant sunlight. Nikos fell to his knees in awe and fear, recognizing immediately the god before him. "You dare refuse Apollo?" "The gods Voice boomed, echoing through the walls. Do you, mortal, presume your cow to be worthy of more respect than Apollo himself? Nikos trembled before Apollo, yet courage filled his heart. With genuine humility, he pleaded softly, Great Apollo, I mean no disrespect. Aurelia is all we have, our pride and our joy. I ask only mercy from the gods. But Apollo, whose envy could not be calmed by mortal words, simply stretched forth his hand. If you cannot part with Aurelia willingly, and by my power, she shall be mine. With a wave of his hand, Aurelia appeared before the doorway, her gentle eyes wide and frightened. A golden path opened from the farm to the heavens themselves. No, please, Nikos cried, his voice breaking, running towards Aurelia. Yet, no matter how swiftly he moved, Apollo's divine power kept them separated. Aurelia moved slowly, reluctantly, toward the golden path as if enchanted. Nikos wept, begging Apollo for mercy, but the god's heart remained unmoved. Before Nikos could reach Aurelia, she began her slow ascent along the path of golden sunlight rising above the mortal earth. Nikos fell to his knees, weeping as Aurelia rose higher, ascending toward Mount Olympus until she disappeared entirely from sight. In her absence, the farm quickly deteriorated. Crops wilted, olive trees withered, animals weakened, and Nikos himself suffered greatly, his heart broken. The villagers watched helplessly as their once thriving friend turned withdrawn and sorrowful, mourning the loss of his greatest treasure. Word of the tragedy spread, eventually reaching the ears of Jupiter, king of the gods. Jupiter, wise and just, looked down from Olympus and saw clearly Apollo's envy had led him astray. Deeply saddened by the farmer's grief, Jupiter descended to the village disguised as an old wanderer, gently knocking upon Nikos's door. Farmer, pale and weary, opened the door and welcomed the traveler in. After observing Nikos's broken state and seeing the barren land around him, Jupiter revealed himself, his gentle yet powerful presence comforting the mortal. I cannot undo Apollo's deed, Jupiter said softly, for Aurelia has taken her place among immortals, but I may grant you comfort. Aurelia's blessing will return to your land, though Aurelia herself cannot. With Jupiter's promise, warmth and life returned to the farm. Olives ripened, grapes grew sweeter, fields became fertile again, and Nikos's animals flourished. Aurelia's essence and divine blessing were restored to the land itself. Yet despite prosperity returning, Nikos never forgot his beloved Aurelia. Each morning, when he rose with the sun, he whispered thanks to Aurelia, believing her to be grazing eternally in fields of gold high upon Olympus. A celestial creature now beloved among the gods. In time, Nikos came to understand a profound lesson that he would carry for the rest of his life and teach to generations who followed. Mortals may hold treasures envied, even by gods, but must guard closely that which they love most dearly, for divine envy spares neither the humble nor the proud. Thank you for joining me on this journey through ancient Rome. If you enjoyed this story and crave more tales of intrigue, bravery, and adventure from the Roman Empire, click here for more Roman fiction. Until our next adventure, veil farewell.